Good evening, everyone. This is the Black Post. No matter what you believe or what you think, the message will be sent this evening. This
I
is
must
the
say
Black
to you,
Post. Pan-Africanism. What does Pan-African truly mean in our society as Black Americans, as melanated people? Well, before you think you know my answers and where my commentary is coming from, I think it's best to hear this before you leave. First, Pan-Africanism, the idea that peoples of African descent have common interests and should be unified. Should be unified. In more general terms, Pan-Africanism is the sentiment that people of African descent have a great deal in common, a fact that deserves notice and even celebration. Well, Pan-Africanism is dead within the Black community and those in the diaspora, whether it be from the Caribbean, the UK, as well as the continent of Africa, with the many 50 countries that Africa entails. See, what we need to understand is that, first and foremost, before Africans from the many different countries come over to America, they have Black contempt for Black Americans. And this is why you see a lot of dissension, you see a lot of separation, even with the Africans that come over here and deal, as they would say, with Black Americans. They even have a name for us. It's called Akata. That's a common name that most Nigerians use, but it's not just Nigerians. It's Ethiopians, it's Kenyans and Tanzanians, South Africans. It doesn't matter what part of Africa. Coming over here, somehow a large portion of them become part of the coon class. And the problem is, us Black Americans, we have been fooled, tripped, and manipulated because as we look back, we just see their complexion. We see that they're melanated folks, so we believe they're in for us. We believe they're a part of our team. So we need to understand, first and foremost, Caribbeans as well as Africans come over to America with their tribalism. And I distinctively looked up African tribalism beliefs because they argue is the basis for hatred between peoples within a country. I want you to think about colonization for a moment. And I'm not going to go too long here, but I want you to think about colonization for a moment, where this was designed by white supremacy to separate a people within a people. It says tribalism, they argue, is the basis for hatred between peoples within a country, as well as between countries. If Africans say are to take their rightful place in the world, progressive Africans believe tribalism must be destroyed. This goes fivefold for the African Union. This goes fivefold for the continent of Africa. They bring their tribalism over here and they separate themselves even within the United States. They don't want no business with you. Oh, no. They don't want a partnership with you. See, the one thing I'm understanding right now, good evening, Jermaine, is that Pan-Africanism has been dead for Africans and Caribbeans. But see, Americans, we have been living this pipe dream that somehow we're going to go out, take hand in hand, and be connected with our African brothers and sisters around the globe and become unified and break down and destroy the system of white supremacy. No, no, no. Time and time again, Black Americans have been trying to network. Black Americans have been trying to connect. Black Americans have been trying to go over and start businesses, either in many of the African countries and the Caribbean. And they shut the door in our face and allow Asians, mostly from China, they allow East Indians, they allow white people from all across the world to come inside their countries and do business as they shut the door on us. the white man, the Asian man is still your colonizer. Whether it's in the Caribbean or it's in the continent of Africa. I recall many a times I went on vacations in the Caribbean and I asked the owners, I asked the managers, who owned this? 99 times out of 100, it's always a white man in Canada or Europe, and sometimes even America. See, what the African nation doesn't understand is that you will be colonized again, if not already colonized by state, aka in the countries, because you have gotten in such great debt with China that now you can't break this blood tie to eradicate your people from imperialism and actually start a real government for the people. Governments were meant for people. Governments were meant for people, by the people, everywhere in the world, making the society, making the land, making the place that you live in better than what it was. Oh yeah, I'm going somewhere, family. To make it better than what it was. See, I don't understand when I look down at the border of Texas at Del Rio and I see over 15,000 Haitians trying to get in. Simultaneously, America the Great flies over 100,000 Afghans in two chaotic situations, but two very, very different stories. See, family, if you had people like Vitor and Dessalines alive, they will not stand for what's going on at the Haitian, at the Mexican, and at the American border. They would not. Because these are the revolutionaries. These are the revolutionaries that got together and destroyed the French colonial rule. The Haitian Revolution was a successful insurrection by self-liberated slaves against French colonial rule in Saint-Domingue, now the sovereign state of Haiti, which I don't understand, and I will never understand what the hell that they said that the Haitian Revolution was a successful insurrection. It was their country in the first place. You don't insurrect your own country. You came in with a new government and they insurrected that. What am I getting at? What am I getting at? Well, our brothers and sisters, supposedly, because we understand that Pan-Africanism is absolutely dead. And I don't think we can come back from this for maybe 100 years. See, now Haitians want help. Now Haitians want assistance. But when we try to partner with you and build business, oh, no, you're not welcome here. This little Haiti. They made all of these division groups, whether it be Africans, Caribbeans. They all made these tribalism groups come over to America to separate everybody from everyone for their own personal and financial gain. Now they asking questions. How did so many Haitians end up at the southern border? They went by way through Mexico. That's how they got there. And the Mexican government put them out towards America. They put them out towards America. The Mexican chased them out of there with bats, sticks, and guns, because even in Mexico, your complexion has no protection, and they would rather kill you than have you in their country. So now you're here. Your brothers and sisters told you to come to the land of milk and honey, and you realize it's whips and bats. Welcome home. Welcome home. See, the reason why a lot of Black Americans are now waking up against our quote unquote Caribbean and African friends is that at every single turn, they seem to undermine us and talk bad behind us, not even behind our backs like some reasonable, sensible people, but right blatantly in our face on social media each and every time. It doesn't matter the person you name. You could think of some negative story that paints who foundational Black Americans, American Black natives, Aboriginal Black people, American Indians, and I'm talking about those Black American Indians, they shut the door in our face. See, what I think we don't understand is the amount of people, even a person like Cardi B. And I'm just going to read from here. She's got some other tweets. I'm going to start from the bottom. But the crazy shit is when I did videos like this, people used to say, "Are you Black?" But you speak Spanish. So I just started saying, "I'm Caribbean." See, and there's some more tweets out there, family, that she has reluctantly forego her melanin, supposedly. She used to say she's Spanish. And then people started claiming that I don't claim my Blackness. It's like it's always an L. Cardi never accepted being Black. She embraces Black cultures in the same way culture vultures do. She act like a Black woman until it's time to be a Black woman. Exactly. And then Cardi says, "How do you act like a Black woman? How do Black women act?" See, she totally tried to reverse psychology on this one. And believe me, people are smarter than what you're saying, Cardi. People are smarter than what you're saying, Cardi. How do a Black woman act? I don't think you know the difference between race, nationality, and ethnicity. She said, "Back then I didn't use the right terms. I haven't always been super woke," laughing my ass off. "I should have said half Hispanic because saying I'm Spanish don't make sense because it's a language." Family, I don't want to bore you here with useless, worthless Cardi B tweets, but I want to get down to the meat and potatoes of the coon class, like your Jim Clyburns. Yeah. Your Jim Clyburns. Who else? You got Candace Owens. She's always on the team. And all these people have what? Immigrant backgrounds. They either from or their family is from, so that's where they get their idealism from. Yes, that is where they get their idealism. When you look at certain people on entertainment, doesn't matter the field, like a Stephen A. Smith. He bashes Black Americans, and what people don't understand, you believe he's your friend. He believes he's just a sports commentator, but if you hear his rhetoric, and most recently with Kwame Brown, if you hear his rhetoric, understand the dispositions that he's coming from. Understand how he's been raised, regardless of his success, regardless of his job, regardless how he commentates on Black Americans. This is where he get his culture. What am I getting at? Just like a Sheila Jackson Lee. If you're not familiar with this lady, she's part of Congress and where her family is from. Her parents were immigrants from Jamaica. And we're going to touch up on Jamaica just a little bit. Oh, yeah. Because in my opinion, I believe the most coons from the Caribbean as well as Africa come from Jamaica and Nigeria. I'm not saying all Nigerians. I'm not saying all Caribbean folk in Jamaica. I'm simply stating my own anecdotal experience of what I've seen. What else? See, the one thing that people get wrong is that we believe that people that look like us, that dress like us, are our friends, family. We don't have any friends. And what immigrants are now figuring out, and I don't mean just any immigrants, I mean those melanated immigrants, where they're soon finding out is that they don't have any friends either, that they will only allow a select few to be released. That is what we're not understanding, family. So we have over 15,000.
Which one do you think I'm having for?
We have 15,000 homeless Haitians in the border of Texas, while we have over 100,000 being flown in from Afghanistan to this country. This should be alarming at most, because what Haitians don't understand is that you don't have the complexion for the protection. You don't have the right skin to blend in. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like, if we're going to be counterintuitive about the conversation, then I think I need to say that that's the reason why our coon class, they blend in because they skinned in. They skinned in because they blend in, meaning they have the complexion to have the right connections. And when they get in office, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, all of these things are predetermined and pre-planned, because they vet their candidates before they allow them to run for office. So the Haitians, you guys are homeless on the border. Do I care? I do not. See, I do care for human life. I do want you guys to survive and make it. But do I personally care? No, because maybe not you, the people down at the border, maybe not your mothers and fathers, but you have a coon class that came to America while we continue to try to practice Pan-Africanism, shuns away our hand the same way you guys do in your country. And I'm not just speaking about Haiti, I'm speaking about the Caribbean as well as the continent of Africa. And I have a lot of African friends, and believe me, they ride for Black Americans. They ride for Black indigenous people of America. So these are things that we need to really think about when we're talking about these conversations, and we're talking about them with people from different countries. See, my thing is this: they already know about separation and division, because that's the way they've been grown with colonization and tribalism. See, we have always, as Black Americans, we have always, indigenous people have always been on code. We've always been on code. See, they don't have any code. Their code is survival, and I don't care who I step on to survive. See, we had the same thing, but the difference between the two is that we've been on court and we've been fighting. See, they can come over here. It doesn't matter if you're the south of the border in Mexico, or you're in East Asia and all those countries, or you're from the Caribbean or the continent of Africa. Foundational Black Americans, Black indigenous people of this land, our forefathers had fought, bled for this land, for you to come over and disrespect us. That's why I don't care. We either be freedom from slavery, going through Jim Crow while still making a way for ourselves, or is it even today's society? See, what people don't understand is that I'm actually tired of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them always bringing up Tulsa, Oklahoma like there wasn't other Black Wall Streets. There was a Black Wall Street in almost every major city in America. Just do your research. It's always like a little bit of you guys are great, just a small amount. And we've been fooled and tricked, and we believe this mess. Then we have people that come over here from other countries and undermine us. They get in their cliques and groups and they enclose themselves. Oh, now you need help. Well, no, not anymore. Pan-Africanism is dead. We tried. And Dr. Umar, if you ever hear this broadcast, Pan-Africanism is dead. Stop pushing the snake oil. Stop pushing the snake oil, Dr. Umar Johnson. Pan-Africanism is absolutely dead. Why do you think they promote things in a certain manner? Little Haiti, little Cuba, little this, little that. And then we come in here, we feel like the foreigners in our own land for the forefathers who provided the opportunity for them to come over and live a great life. They're just a bunch of cowards. We either be the Afghans or the Haitians. These people are freaking cowards because of my lineage that goes back to this land, this soil, have never had a history of people who abandoned their country, who abandoned their birthright, who fled. Never in a million years you've heard foundational Black Americans ever flee from their country, but we have Haitians that do. We have Nigerians that do. We have people from all these different countries that do. They flee their countries and they say, oh, I fear for my life. I couldn't make a way. If 15,000 Haitians got together, you don't think they have the physical prowess to go inside their country and make an entire difference of the country? That's just like the Afghans. Everyone is free from their country and benefiting from Black historical lineage. Our forefathers and ancestors have built this nation, and we still get nothing for it. How does it feel, Black people, that you're voted for Joe Biden? Where did it get you? Let me tell you what it got you. It got somewhat your brothers and sisters at the border in Del Rio, Texas, being flown back in 8 planes back to Haiti. That's what it has gotten you. Oh, what else has gotten you? It has gotten you an Asian hate executive order to protect Asians because they went through 1 year, which is actually in the executive order, of discrimination and racism. And guess was everything that's pointing at you. Well, let me help you out a little bit and give you clarity. This bullshit right here. I typed in Asian man hitting Black woman. Family. I'm just going to read the titles. You saw what I Googled, and I'm going to tell you what I got, because we saw the videos of our Black mothers and sisters going inside of nail shops, going inside of hair salons, going inside Chinese restaurants. Something occurs with the bill and or product and or service. The Asian man or the Asian woman locks the door and they proceed to whoop our sisters and our mothers' ass right there in the salon, right there in the supply store, while other people are looking, while other people are in the shop, other melanated people. But this is what I typed in. Asian man hitting Black women, and this is what I get. A video shows a man suddenly hitting an Asian woman. Asian man hitting Black women. Google is very intelligent. Google is very smart. They was up on the Senate today. You see them at Congress? Let me carry on. 65-year-old Asian woman kicked in the stomach, stumped in the face. So again, someone's attacking an Asian person. Homeless man charged in Chinatown sucker punch of an Asian man. 2 Asian women repeatedly attacked with cinder blocks. Video shows a stranger attacking Asian women. All these hate crimes on Asian Americans, and my fucking title was Asian man hitting a Black woman. We need to understand that media is controlled. It doesn't matter what I typed in. When I typed in Asian violence against Black Americans, you get no results. Google sent me right to Asians getting attacked by Black people. The exact opposite of what I asked for. And you know, and I know that there's videos out there of Asians whooping Black people ass in their shops, whether it be in this country or in other countries. Asian man hitting Black woman, I get Asians being hit and struck and assaulted by so-called Black people. I'm here to free your mind, to open your eyes, because this is what you need to pay attention to. They make us feel for everybody. They make us feel as Black people. They put all this stuff on CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News. Doesn't matter your public news media. It is curtailing, it is changing, manipulating, brainwashing your brain for you to believe what they want you to believe. They understand that the most dumbest people on earth are people who sit up and watch TV all damn day. People who look on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook for simply entertainment and not information. They understand the class that they're pandering to. They understand the class that they're talking to. They understand the class that they're tricking to. Yeah, they understand the class. So I don't have any more emotional connections to people who simply look like me but don't accept me. I have no more connection. I have no more emotional connection. We don't have time, Black Americans, to wait around for our Caribbean and African friends. We do not. I can care two fucks about the situation in Del Rio. Now, because I love human life, I will not wish bad upon the people, but this is a time that you hold your own nuts. You need to hold your own nuts, because Black Americans has been feeling for everybody except ourselves. What about the Hispanics? We cried about that in March for that. What about the Asians? Back in the day, we went to war and we protest for them. Now everybody has prosperity in America except for who? Except for Black Americans. And we still not fucking understanding, are we? That is because we keep trying to partnership and hold hands with people who do not want to hold hands with us. They want to undermine us. They want to take our forefathers' lineage and our ancestors and everything that was going to be passed down to us from us, and you don't see it. Why do you think they're coming over here getting American citizenship? Because now they can be considered what? African Americans. That's why you should change your term. Make yourself a Black Native American, and indigenous Black Aborigine, a foundational Black American, anything except African American, because they will do the trick bag and take everything you have and give you absolutely nothing in return. If you're banking on reparations, you're wrong. It's time for them to hold their own nuts. That's what it's time for, family. It is time for them to hold their own nuts. We can no longer be your nut protector. Oh no. Take all of this. Take all this. Haitians, Nigerian, it don't have Caribbean, Jamaicans, it don't matter. There's no more Pan-Africanism, because it never was with you. It never was with you, Africa. It never was with you, the Caribbean, and all the countries within. You never had Pan-Africanism because you never showed it. You talked about it, you preached about it, you tried. As Black Americans, we no longer can. As Black Americans, we no longer can. Thank you, Dink. The Black vote is used to help everyone except Black people. And this is what we need to understand. See, you don't have the complexion for the protection. No, no, no. You don't have the complexion for the protection, but Afghanis do. But Afghanis do. See, while they're shipping out Haitians 8 planes a day until they get 15,000 people back to their shamble of a country and economy, their earthquaking settled cities, total anarchy in Haiti. They're loading up the planes, 8 747s a day to get them people out of here as quick as possible as they bring in who? The Afghani buffer class of white America. The Afghani buffer class of white America. See, family, I want you to open your eyes and not think what I'm thinking, but let me inform you so you can think for yourself and understand what the fuck is going on. I want you to know what the fuck is going on. That is what we're not understanding, family. And some people were saying, I told my friend, I said, well, Afghanis are considered white. He said, what? No, they're not. They're not white. I said, yes, they are. He said, where are you getting your information from? I said, I'm getting my information from census.gov, the United Census Bureau. That's what I'm getting my information from. And I went to their website and I said, what do you consider race? Well, a white person. Well, a white person. Well, a white person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. What are white people in America? What are white people in America? From any of the countries and origins of peoples of Europe, the Middle East. Last time I checked, Afghanistan is in the Middle East. So they come over here as the buffer class of white American so we can decrease the population of Black Americans. So when I look out into a sea, when I look out into a valley, when I go to a function or event, the only thing I see are people with vanilla faces, people with brown light faces that look like they have a tan. I don't see no dark skin melanation of nowhere. Get them Haitis back to their fucking country. What Joe Biden say? They have started deporting those migrants in the south border of Texas at Del Rio. That's what Joe Biden said. See, Black people, you didn't listen to me when I told you, don't you fucking vote for Joe Biden. Don't you waste your time. Don't you waste your vote. Don't you waste your fucking gas going to vote for Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were complicit in what they were not going to do for Black America. They was very, very complicit. They told us very, very clearly, we're not doing anything for Black Americans. Whatever we do for them, we're going to do for everybody else. But you understand the racial disparities and discrimination against Black America, right? Oh, yeah, I understand that. But hey, that's why we got this act. Well, does it just help Black Americans? No, it help everybody. Because we can care two shits. Because what people don't understand is Kamala Harris, you can't get no better than this. Her mother is East Indian and her father is fucking Jamaican. Do I have to say anything else? We got Jamaicans over there putting lightning cream on their face, trying to be white people. These are the biggest coons in America, Jamaicans and Nigerians. But all in all, the coons and Sambos that are what? Internationally known, they look like us. They look like us. And this is what we're not understanding, family. They blend in because they can skin in. How many times are we going to be fooled before we wake up? Well, Akon says he believes Black America should no longer think about slavery. Y'all hear his spiel? I had much respect for Akon. That's out the window. I see he has a different agenda. He says in Senegal, we've kind of overcome the thought of slavery. We don't even think about it, Akon shared. The only time we think about it, honestly, is when we're doing tours on some sort of island there in Senegal. Outside of that, people have lived and moved way beyond the slavery concept. It's not a concept, Akon. It's a fucking realism that people actually went through. A concept, Akon, is a fucking idea. Akon. You go over there and you build big things with the American money that you made, and then you're going back to your country. See, that's what people don't understand. All these coons and sambos from these white colonization countries that look like us, they come over here and they have malcontempt for Black people. For regular, good old Black American people who fucking paved the way, who still march in the streets today for justice, for melanation. You come over here, you use our system, you use our culture to make your millions. Now you want to talk shit that you're going back to your country, and now you're using our American dollars to build your country. I'll be smiling too. Because once again, Black America, we have got tricked. And this time they told you what they wasn't going to do. Wake up. Wake up.
Do you support reparations for Black people? Well, listen, again, we had over...
Let me rewind this.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Wait a minute.
Listen.
Do you support reparations for Black people? Don't worry, I'll be your interpreter in case you can't hear.
Again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow.
Who is we, Kamala? Listen, she is trying to blend in because of her skin tone. She said we. She didn't say Black Americans. She said we had over 200 years of slavery. Kamala, no, you did not, and neither did your lineage. Your father's from Jamaica and your mother's from East India. Was there slavery in East India? Yes. Was there slavery in Jamaica? Yes. But you and your family lineage did not experience racism right here in the United States of America. Don't play me.
For almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income.
Family, are you getting it? She is just giving you the problems. Right. Watch this. She's saying all these disparities. Is she ever going to get to resources? It's kind of like if someone stops a bum on the street and say, yeah, man, I know you had some hard times. You've been sleeping out here on the street. You hungry, you this, you that, you this. And you know his total condition, and you won't give him a couple of dollars to get him a sandwich, give him a fucking couple of quarters to give him some water. But you're going to tell him all his conditions, and that's the same bullshit that Kamala Harris is doing right now. And this was only a year ago. And I'm going to tell you, Black folk, you Biden sexuals out there, thinking that he was going to do something for Black people from the very first time when he was on the Charlamagne the God show in the Breakfast Club. He said, if you don't vote for me, you not Black. And then the story comes out that Biden's ancestors had slaves. Well, no shit. I think we can tell that. Well, at least the most intelligent of us all could.
And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country.
Oh, you think?
And in particular, Black people have not. And
particularly Black people have not. Okay, yeah. We're a country of immigrants. Yeah.
So we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act.
Family, why are our people so fucking dumb? Why? They tell us what they're not going to do for us, and we still vote them in, thinking because they look and act black sometimes, as we say, acting black, we fall for the trick bag every single time.
Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy.
Thank you. The reporter said by default, it helps black families, but there's nothing in particular that helps black people directly. This is what she said. This is what the reporting is stating. By default, it affects black people, but particularly, it does not direct help black people. Listen.
For African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society.
You hear that, right? See, so Kamala Harris and Joe Biden already told us they wasn't going to do shit for us. See, what they did was they came out very plainly and said, anything that we do for black people will benefit the majority of Americans. Some of you bootlicks, some of you Sambos like, yeah, that's right. They're not going to be black people's president. They're going to be Americans' president. So why is it that other groups over us always get what they want? Hispanics got the Hispanics Economic Initiative. Excuse me. The Hispanics got the Heritage. They got the Hispanic Prosperity Economic Initiative. Look it up. She just tell you that anything that we do that benefit black people will benefit all of America. Let me rewind it just a little bit.
Will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that.
Let's be clear.
Let's really be clear about that.
Let's be clear.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
You see her little sister girl stroll? When she started talking about black people real sassy, you see what she's doing?
Because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
Ain't nothing about Kamala Harris, foundational black American, black Indian, black indigenous person at all. She has a Jamaican father, East Indian mother, and her husband is white. Tell me where she had a black experience. Tell me where she grew up in New York, New Jersey, Detroit, Chicago, DC, Baltimore, Atlanta. Tell me where her black experience, Houston, Dallas, LA. Tell me where her black experience. She didn't know. Even her husband doesn't have a black experience. That's the problem that we continue to face, family. We continue to look up to bootlicks and Sambos that are essentially caping for white supremacy. When are our eyes are going to be open? See, this is what I like. There was another man that looked like us, and we fell for the trick bag. I believe his name was Barack Obama. And even Barack Obama told us, I'm not doing nothing for black people. Because you know what he did? He avoided the fucking question. And we still voted him in twice. Yes, I admit I voted. And I was tricked. And now I'm pissed. Because I didn't fall for it the second time, but you did. Well, if you don't believe what I'm saying about Obama, because you got some Obama sexuals out there that's in love with Obama, I'll show you how he avoids it. They never say no. They just fucking avoid it.
Do that as president. Senator Obama, your position on reparations?
Hold on.
Senator Obama, your position on reparations?
Listen to the question.
Senator Obama, your position on reparations?
I think the reparations we need right here in South Carolina is investment, for example, in our schools.
Do you hear this coon motherfucker? Yeah, I called him a coon motherfucker. I sure did. Did you hear what he said? What's the question, Obama? Will African Americans ever get reparations for slavery? And then when they asked Barack Obama the question, Barack said, I think that we need reparations right here in North Carolina school system. What the fuck is he talking about? Again, his mother was white. His father from where? Kenya. Not a foundational Black American. They have a different mindset. They have a different agenda. They have a different mission. White people use them. It doesn't matter what position they're in, president or media. It doesn't matter. Entertainment. They use them for their will. There are white shields for white. There are Black shields for white supremacy. We need to understand this. Listen, family. Listen one more time.
Senator Obama, your position on reparations?
I think the reparations we need right here in South Carolina is investment, for example, in our schools. I did a
Reparations for schools in North Carolina. That wasn't the question, President Obama.
I did a town hall meeting in Florence, South Carolina, in an area called the Corridor of Shame.
I don't want to torture you, family.
Students are trying to learn.
He's talking about schools in North Carolina versus reparations for African Americans. See, I try to show you the invoices. I try to break it down to you so you don't just hear me running my fucking mouth without proof. I will give you proof. So let's get to old Jim Crow Joe. Because you went out and voted for Biden sexual, even after he told you that if you don't vote for me, you're not Black. Even after he signed that 1994 crime bill and that 1986 anti-drug bill that incarcerated over 100,000 Black men. And we still voting Democrat. And we still voting Republican. We should be apolitical, march the streets, tell them what we want, and nobody fucking votes until we get what we want. We shouldn't belong to no political party. Oh, well, let's start up a new political party. For what? There's already enough. The people hold the power. If you want to be in the position of authority, then what are you going to do for us specifically? Well, these are our demands. Yeah. This is our laundry list. This is the old list that you never fulfill with our ancestors. Jim Crow Joe. See, we need to understand that Jim Crow Joe was under tutelage and guidance of Barack Obama. So Barack Obama, as you saw, avoided the question of reparations. Well, the apple.
Vice President Biden, do you support reparations?
Look, let me, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance.
Let me back that up just one more time for context.
Vice President Biden, do you support reparations?
Look, let me, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration.
Wait a minute. Did you guys miss that? Did you fucking miss that? What was the question, fucking Senator O'Biden? What was the question? See, I don't want you guys to get lost. I want to give you some context. The question, do you support reparations? Here's his response.
Do you support reparations?
Look, let me, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every.
He went for reparations to immigration.
People who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24.
Work like the devil. Well, if I believed in the devil, then that would be another story, but this is strictly bullshit. You see, the question was reparations, family, and he went right to immigration. He already told you what he's going to do. He already told you what you're going to do. So when I look at stories and I see stories like this, it doesn't bother me none the least bit. I understand what this country is, and I understand what this country isn't. See, that's why Haitians are getting flown back to their country. I think they stopped for a moment, but that's why they're getting flown back to their country. First and foremost, the first reason why you're getting flown back to your country, because you have no Black American friends. You can't skin in and blend in because they got your ass trapped in at the Del Rio border. See, you had other people that come over like Candace Owens or Stephen A. Smith. This is a name from the Caribbean. I'm naming the whole Caribbean to understand that you can't be like the Afghans. See, the Afghans are considered white in America. We went over that, did we not? We went to the SearsBureau.gov, and they told us that white people are considered people from the European nation, as well people from North Africa, and as well the Middle East. So that's why the Afghans get first-class service, 100,000 people or more getting flown into the different cities around America, while Haitians are getting flown out. Hold your own nuts. We've been trying Pan-Africanism for too fucking long. Pan-Africanism is absolutely, positively, 1,000% dead. Because while we was practicing and trying to execute on Pan-Africanism, you guys were undermining us, and now the Afghans are taking your spot. Let's read about it. Let's read about it. The administration has requested funding from Congress to help resettle 65,000 Afghans in the United States by the end of this month and 95,000 by September of 2022. That's 200,000 people I'm rounding up. That's 200,000 people from another country I'm rounding fucking up. This is what goes on. This is the bullshit that they pull between your eyes, and this is the cause of you not practicing true Pan-Africanism. The Afghans have taken your spot. Those 15,000 under the bridge, goodbye. This would be the first and last, because we're going to start putting up borders, as the Texas governor said. I'm going to start putting up borders. Let me give it to you hard, because I want you to feel it and I want them to feel it. What it says here, family, talked about Delaware. They're talking about the number of Afghans who want to resell in the United States over the next 20 years, including California, Maryland, Texas, and Virginia. So this country, most of the area, most of the farmlands are being wiped away to install more houses of people migrating even within their own country. Now we're about to bring 200,000 people for another country for the next 20 years. It's going to be even more than that. Reselling Afghan refugees. Look at this, family. They have a whole entire plan. They're putting them everywhere except where? DC, West Virginia, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Hawaii. But they're putting Afghan refugees everywhere throughout America, and they're starting them off with $3,000 in their pocket. But they're sending Haitians back home. See, Haitians, you don't have the complexion for the protection. See, Pan-Africanism is dead because you never extended your hand out. You ever try to give somebody a pound? You ever try to shake somebody's hand and they left you hanging? How does that feel? Now the shoe is on the other foot. Now the shoe is on the other foot. I wonder how it feels. I wonder how it feels. Take it. Hold your own nuts. That's how it feels. When you don't practice Pan-Africanism with Black Americans, this is how it feels. constantly, day in and day out, kicks to the nuts. Hold your own and protect your own nuts now. Take that big stick. You got to hold your own nuts now. The Afghans have taken your spot. They've already been reducing the amount of immigrants from Africa as well as the Caribbean. They've already reduced the number. We jump on everybody's bandwagon. All of a sudden, I'm hearing Black Americans talking about, oh, there's been a rise in Black hate against Asians. We've never had a history of marginalizing a group. We've never had a history of being racist towards no Asians. The reason why we can't be racist against any Asians because we don't own anything. We don't have anything to be discriminatory upon. What businesses do we own, Black people? What's our net worth? Or they always talk about our spending power. That is AKA also known as your debt power. So please don't tell me about no 1.4 trillion if you don't know what the fuck you talking about. They're not talking about the amount of money in your pocket. They're not talking about the amount of money in your bank account. They're not talking about the amount of assets you have. They're not talking about that. They're talking about the amount of debt that you guys can apply for and pay this white supremacy country like you've already been doing at a higher amount, at a higher price. We've always been discriminatory against. But for some reason, they get every sort of bill you can imagine. See, people are worried about the Asian hate bill, the anti-Asian hate crime executive order. All the while, that was last year, family. What about this year? Executive order on advancing equity, justice, and the opportunity for Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islander, signed May 2021. You guys don't know who you fucking with. This country undermines Black people at every cost, and this is where we are now. And this is where we are now. See, that one was in May of this year. What about in March? What happened in March? Oh, President Biden announces additional actions to respond to anti-Asian violence, xenophobia, and bias. So Black people, we never endured that, have we? Anti-Black violence, xenophobia, and biases. Yeah. We've never experienced that, have we? It doesn't matter what our forefather has done for immigrants and migrants from the African country, for the African continent and the Caribbean countries. We can talk about our Martin Luther Kings. We can talk about our Malcolm X's. We can talk about our Dr. Henry Clarks, our Sheila Jackson Lee couldn't even amount to 1% of what those people are. See, we need to do our research and understand who our revolutionaries were. And stop depending. We're talking about going back to Africa to live a better life. When you get over there, they practice tribalism. They find out you're a Black American. You'll be dead like that group in Detroit of that family flew over to Ghana to live a better life and got killed in Ghana, and they were from Detroit. What about all the people, all the Black American homes are getting broken into in Africa? Mostly the Namibia and the Gambia. What about that? Now, granted, that same shit can happen in America, but what I'm saying, why go somewhere thinking you're going to live a better life and you're still living in the same condition? The only difference is one had white supremacy, and now you're in a state of Black supremacy and tribalism and discrimination because you are not African, you are American. People skin in because they can blend in. See, the problem is, family, for all too long, we never really cared about where people were from. The only thing we cared for is how they looked. See, we didn't practice white supremacy with even in our own race, meaning those white people from Britain and Germany and certain countries discriminated upon those white Scottish and Irish people and Italian people. But see, when they came over to America, they knew how to join forces. And see, blacks in Africa, those Africans, have not figured it out yet. They're still practicing tribalism. They come over here and practice tribalism. When they know you're a black American, they already don't want to fuck with you, do business with you, because to them, you're just an Akata. That is what you are. You're just an Akata. So Pan-Africanism is very much dead. Understand that it has never helped black Americans in any form or fashion when they come over here with their coon and sambo class and dance a jig for massa, and we understand, why is this person not speaking up? Why is this person not fighting for black America? That's because they're not black Americans. Because they're not black Americans. There's only a few of them out there that's willing to ride and fight for Pan-Africanism. But for the majority of Caribbeans and for the majority of Africans, they do not practice, and they have not been practicing Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is dead. There's no proof that it has helped any of us. But what I know is that there are little Haitis and little Cubas and little this and Chinatown all over America. They let you know that we have separated from the group because this town is from us. We came and we fled our countries. We fled our nations to come over to America and take what you have built for your family and for your people. That's what we have done. So until next time, family, this is the Black Pulse. Tonight, the message was sent. Whether if you loved it or hated, the message was delivered.